And now I decided to watch this video because I was someone who didn't like Dan Bilzerian, right? I used to see him as very superficial, and a lot of the way he just came across as very materialistic, and a lot of people didn't like him. But all of a sudden, I saw an interview with PBD, Patrick Bet Davis, which I think he's another scammer, and he was talking about Israel, right? And I'm not gonna give my opinions on Israel, but he was saying how he thinks that they have way too much power and that a lot of people are afraid to criticize Israel because they don't want to get in trouble, right? And PBD was saying, "Oh, what are you talking about? They don't have that type of power." You know, the whole when they act like it's not happening. And I remember watching him and reading the comments, and I'm like, dude, a lot of people seem to like him now. One of the reasons why is because that's actually where the wind is blowing. It just seems like in this world that a lot of people seem to not be liking Israel, right? And that's becoming the common voice, right? Just like people not liking CEOs of healthcare. In fact, a lot of people are just hating billionaires, right? And that's causing a lot of resentment. And this is something that's very interesting that I saw that if you're somebody that disliked, right?
By the way, check out my new channel, Professor Alex. It's a channel that I created where I talk about spirituality, self-help, and topics like the ones you see here. It's completely different from the men's channel. So click on that right now, and there you'll be able to get 3 or 4 videos per week that you will never find on this channel. Okay, subscribe right now or else I'm closing it.
You want to support the right cause. So if you're disliked, it's not about supporting the proper cause. When I mean the right cause, I mean support the cause that will get people to like you. That goes with the wind. That's why a lot of Hollywood stars back in the 70s were more liberal, right? In the 80s, even up until now, were more liberal because that's where the public wind was going. So if you're somebody that's disliked, like a Dan Bilzerian, find an enemy that everyone hates. Find the right enemy. The right enemy will do all of the dirty work for you. Choosing the right enemy will make the person who can hate you the most your friend. Why? Your enemy is my friend. I think so. I think that's a phrase, right? And it's as simple as that. And this is, like I said, this works best if you're in a public light and you're disliked. Find a cause that everyone supports, and like magic, people just start liking you. For example, Trump was liked before. People remember that, right? He was actually liked by the black community. Even in The Fresh Prince, he was in an episode and people just went like that to him. As soon as he ran for president, all of a sudden, he's Hitler. And I never liked him, but I always found that to be kind of interesting how him just changing the political aisle completely changed how much they liked him without changing anything about him because he was like a lifelong Democrat, right? So that's one part. Choose the right cause. And the truth about this strategy is that it's actually very deceptive. This is why I wouldn't do that, because it's deceptive and eventually people will sense that you're going with the winner. For example, Stephen A. Smith, right? Stephen A. Smith, he's a lifelong Democrat. No, he says he's an independent voter, but he always votes Democrat. And now all of a sudden he's noticing that people are supporting more Trump for some reason. And now he's talking like he kind of supports him, how he kind of understands him. But no matter what happens, he'll still vote Democrat, right? People like that just go like this and sense where the wind is blowing. And the problem with the strategy is that if you do this long enough, people will see through you. So you got to be careful with the strategy. The next strategy is letting people see your weakness. Jesus Christ, people, I write better than this. People see your weakness. For example, Joe Biden, one of his sons died in an accident. And I remember when I heard that, like something in me changed. I was like, oh, I feel bad for him, right? Seeing them suffer, you gotta understand, when people are powerful, the only reason why people don't like you is because they think you're impenetrable. Like nothing can hurt you. People start to like you when they see you cry. People start to like you when they see you weak. So a lot of us create the appearance of invincibility. Really, it's a reflection of their ego, right? That's really the ego. That's why people don't like it, because it's ego, right? Because that's impossible. Nobody can be invincible. So when they see weakness from you, people automatically will like you. If all of a sudden you fall ill, the people who like you, they'll notice, they start to like you a little bit more. So what I'm trying to tell you is actually one of the laws of power: never appear too perfect. That's why people like celebrities who change, who stop, who go to rehab, celebrities who went through truly traumatic events. People have more compassion. They're actually more likable. So that's one thing. Let people see your weakness, be relatable. Don't be afraid to show people the things about you that are not perfect. If you show that, people will actually like you. Now, if people use that against you, then tell them to go fuck themselves, right? And above all, it's kind of similar to this one, but make people feel superior. That's why when celebrities never sign autograph or never appear nice or never go out of the way to be nice to their audience, a lot of the times the audience will not like them. And the reason why is because people don't like to feel like you're superior than them, right? They want to see that you also suffer. So that's why humbleness, being humble and trying, even if you're successful, give people the impression that you don't think you're all that. Like, people just want to see humbleness from people. And the problem is that when people, with celebrities, is that they don't notice that they come across as arrogant. And an example is Keanu Reeves. Like, it's kind of insane how much humbleness takes you, especially if you have power. Especially if you have power. It's like that president that he's rich. He's a president, I forgot, of South America, but he lives in a cottage in a small house like a poor man. Obviously, it's more like it's a show. He really doesn't live there, but it works. People like to see people live below their means. They don't like to see people show off because it makes them feel insecure. All right. So this is honestly, it's if you're somebody that's really disliked, check these things out. Most likely, you supposed to support the wrong causes. You never let people see your weaknesses. You come across as way too arrogant, and you make people feel inferior in front of you, and inferior intellectually, spiritually, in every sense of the way. Why? Because most likely you're insecure, and you have an unconscious habit to communicate to people that you're better than them unconsciously. And it's something that if you don't have self-awareness and you were raised in a very privileged lifestyle, you may not notice why people don't like you. Or you may notice that just a lot of people backstab you. All right. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Take care.